America, a nation born from revolution, forged in the fires of conflict and forever striving for a more perfect union. Two pivotal chapters in this ongoing narrative are the American Revolutionary War and the Civil War. These wars, though separated by time and circumstance, are forever intertwined in the tapestry of American history. They stand as testaments to the enduring human struggle for freedom, unity, and self-determination. The American Revolution, a fiery declaration of independence from colonial rule, gave birth to a new nation founded on principles of liberty and self-governance. The Civil War, a brutal test of those very principles, challenged the nation to confront the sin of slavery and forge a new path towards unity and equality. These conflicts, though vastly different in their origins and immediate consequences, share a common thread. They represent the ongoing struggle to define what it means to be American. They are reminders that the ideals upon which this nation was founded are not static pronouncements, but rather living aspirations, constantly tested and redefined by the crucible of history. The American Revolution, a bold experiment in self-governance, ignited a fire that would illuminate the path toward liberty for generations to come. The year was 1775. 13 colonies, stretched along the Atlantic coast of North America, rose in defiance of British rule. Fueled by a potent blend of Enlightenment ideals and grievances against perceived tyranny, the colonists embarked on a perilous journey to secure their independence. This revolution, however, was not a sudden eruption of violence. It was the culmination of years of growing tension between Great Britain and its American colonies. The seeds of discontent were sown in the aftermath of the French and Indian War. Britain, burdened by war debts, sought to exert greater control over its colonies and extract increased revenue. The colonists, accustomed to a degree of self-governance and emboldened by Enlightenment philosophies, bristled under these new measures. They viewed them as infringements upon their rights as Englishmen. The cry of no taxation without representation echoed through the colonies, encapsulating the core of their grievance. The issue of taxation without representation cut to the heart of the colonists' grievances. The British Parliament, in which the colonies had no direct representation, enacted a series of taxes and acts that were seen as oppressive and unjust. The Stamp Act, the Townshend Acts, and the Tea Act all sparked outrage and resistance. The colonists argued that they should not be subjected to taxes imposed upon them without their consent. This principle, enshrined in the Magna Carta and considered a fundamental right of Englishmen, became a rallying cry for the growing movement for independence.
The British government, however, viewed the colonies as a source of revenue and a vital part of its mercantile system. They saw the colonists' resistance as defiance and sought to assert their authority through increasingly stringent measures. This clash of ideologies, fueled by economic interests and political principles, set the stage for an inevitable confrontation.
The simmering tensions finally boiled over on April 19, 1775. On the village greens of Lexington and Concord, Massachusetts, colonial militiamen clashed with British troops, marking the beginning of the armed struggle for independence. The shots heard round the world, as poet Ralph Waldo Emerson would later describe them, signaled the start of a long and bloody conflict. The American Revolution was a grueling test of endurance and resolve. Outnumbered and outgunned, the Continental Army, led by General George Washington, faced a formidable foe in the British Empire. Yet, the colonists persevered, fueled by an unwavering belief in their cause and aided by crucial alliances with France and Spain. From the bitter winter encampment at Valley Forge to the decisive victory at Yorktown, the Revolutionary War was a testament to the courage and determination of the American spirit. It was in these battles, fought on familiar soil, that the fate of a nation hung in the balance. Section 5. A Nation Forged, the Legacy of the American Revolution.
On September 3, 1783, the Treaty of Paris was signed, formally recognizing the independence of the United States of America.
The fledgling nation, born from the fires of revolution, embarked on an uncertain future. The legacy of the American Revolution, however, would resonate far beyond its borders. The revolution had not only secured independence, but had also given birth to a radical experiment in self-governance.
The United States, founded on principles of liberty, equality, and popular sovereignty, became a beacon of hope for those seeking to break free from the shackles of tyranny. The ideals enshrined in the Declaration of Independence that all men are created equal and endowed with certain unalienable rights, would continue to inspire movements for social and political change for centuries to come.
The American Revolution, though flawed in its execution and incomplete in its promise, had set in motion a chain of events that would reshape the world. Section 6, the Civil War, a nation divided.
A mere 85 years after declaring independence, the United States found itself on the precipice of another momentous struggle. This time, however, the enemy was not a distant colonial power, but rather a deeply ingrained institution that threatened to tear the nation apart from within: slavery.
The Civil War, a brutal and bloody conflict that raged from 1861 to 1865, pitted brother against brother, state against state, in a battle over the very soul of America. It was a conflict rooted in the unresolved contradictions of the nation's founding, a reckoning with the hypocrisy of a nation that proclaimed liberty while perpetuating the enslavement of millions.
The issue of slavery had long been a source of tension and debate in the United States. From the compromises forged during the Constitutional Convention to the Missouri Compromise of 1820, the nation had attempted to navigate the treacherous waters of slavery's expansion. However, the issue proved too divisive to be contained.
Section 7, the peculiar institution, slavery and the seeds of conflict.
Slavery, often referred to as the peculiar institution, was deeply entrenched in the social, economic, and political fabric of the southern states. It was a system built on the belief that one race was inherently superior to another, a system that denied basic human rights to millions of African Americans.
As the nation expanded westward, the question of slavery's expansion into new territories became a flashpoint for conflict. The abolitionist movement, fueled by moral outrage and the belief that slavery was a sin, gained momentum in the North. In the South, however, the defense of slavery was deeply intertwined with notions of states' rights and economic self-interest.
Southern leaders argued that the federal government had no right to interfere with the institution of slavery within their borders.
Section 8, brother against brother, key events of the Civil War.
The election of Abraham Lincoln, a staunch opponent of slavery's expansion in 1860, proved to be the catalyst for secession.
11 Southern states, fearing that Lincoln's victory would spell the end of their way of life, seceded from the Union, forming the Confederate States of America.
On April 12, 1861, Confederate forces fired on Fort Sumter in Charleston, South Carolina, marking the beginning of the Civil War.
What began as a conflict that many believed would be over quickly, escalated into a brutal and protracted war that would claim the lives of over 600,000 Americans. From the first major battle at Bull Run to the turning point at Gettysburg and the eventual surrender at Appomattox Courthouse, the Civil War was a testament to the human cost of division and the enduring power of hope. Section 9, a house divided cannot stand, the enduring impact of the Civil War.
The Civil War left an indelible mark on the American psyche.
It was a conflict that tested the very foundations of the nation, forcing it to confront its deepest contradictions and forge a new path forward.
The war resulted in the abolition of slavery, enshrined in the 13th Amendment to the Constitution.
It also led to the ratification of the 14th and 15th Amendments, granting citizenship and voting rights to African Americans.
Yet the legacy of slavery and its enduring impact on American society continued to cast a long shadow.
The struggle for racial equality ignited by the Civil War would continue for generations to come. Section 10, shaping the American identity from Revolution to Reconstruction. The American Revolution and the Civil War, though separated by time and circumstance, are inextricably linked in the narrative of American history. They represent two pivotal moments in the ongoing struggle to define what it means to be American. The Revolution gave birth to a nation founded on principles of liberty, equality, and self-governance. The Civil War tested those principles, forcing the nation to confront the sin of slavery and strive for a more perfect union.
These conflicts, though vastly different in their origins and immediate consequences, share a common thread.
They highlight the enduring tension between the ideals upon which the nation was founded and the realities of its lived experience. Section 11, the unfinished revolution, the continuing struggle for equality. The struggle for a more perfect union, however, did not end with the abolition of slavery or the reunification of the nation. It continues to this day. The ideals of liberty, equality, and justice for all, so eloquently articulated in the nation's founding documents, remain an aspiration, a goal towards which each generation must strive. The Civil War may have ended slavery, but it did not eradicate racism or inequality. The fight for civil rights, economic justice, and social equality continues to be waged in the courts, in the streets, and in the hearts and minds of Americans. The American Revolution and the Civil War serve as stark reminders that the work of building a more just and equitable society is never truly finished. It is an ongoing process, a journey that demands courage, compassion, and an unwavering commitment to the ideals that have always defined the American spirit.